Hello, everyone, and welcome to Amara's Voice. A long time ago, before memory, before words, there was an ancestor, powerful and aware like you and I. He looked upon humanity and saw beings living pure creation. Whatever they thought appeared, whatever they imagined, even for a moment, became real. They were not using their power, they were simply being it. Creation was their nature, not their effort. Every being was a god, and every god knew. If one desired an orange or a mango, it appeared, sweet, ripe, and perfect. They lived in harmony with the vibration of thought itself. Contrast was joyfully embraced. The beings used any experience that didn't bring them joy as a learning experience. They knew the experience only happened to help them better identify what they wanted. So contrast wasn't painful. It was simply put to use, and then a beautiful, even better experience than before was created. Love was the center of all emotion. As one felt hate, for they did, they simply went back into alignment. The beings knew that they weren't separate from Source. They knew they were just dreaming, living in an illusion for the expansion of Source. They were one, all connected to everything. But among them rose one with a new desire, so out of alignment it shocked him too. It lingered, kept him awake during slumber hours, a desire born out of love, but of hunger. He looked upon the beings of light and thought, how can I make their power mine? How can I rule them all? How can I control them? It was a thought unlike any before it, a thought of separation. And once thought began to grow, he gathered others who shared his hunger, and together they whispered in the shadows, planning how to dim the brilliance of the creation itself. How do we make them forget what they are? They asked. How do we take away their nature? How can we make this illusion more interesting? How can we make it truly fun for us and miserable for them? At first they thought, we'll start small. Let's make them stop listening to their feelings and to control their emotions. Let's make this an honorable action, so one who's suppressed is considered wise. Let's teach them to think only with their heads. We want to control their thoughts so they never pay attention to that. Let's tell them emotions are a weakness, imagination is childish, and intuition is unreal. Let's teach them to doubt their instinct. Let's make it all seem like nonsense. Let's teach them to hate one another, the leader said. Voice dipped in mischief. Let it feel like their nature. A ripple of incredulous laughter burst from the elders. No way, one cried, throwing back his head. They'll never buy that. They're joyful beings. They can't hate each other. They cannot. You mean make them hate one another? That's impossible. Exactly, the leader replied, smiling coldly. We'll make them selfish. We'll make selfishness fashionable. We'll teach them to hunt for the worst in everything and everyone. We'll whisper that their bodies are stained with sin, that the flesh cannot be trusted. Another elder recoiled. I can't do it. This is madness. This won't work. I won't be part of a plan that turns love into suspicion. The leader's grin didn't falter. You'll see, he said softly, like a promise and a threat. Doubt is sticky. Fear spreads faster than light when their beliefs are pointed toward it. Plant it well, and very soon they'll do the work for us, policing, blaming, tearing each other down, and we'll only have to sit back and count the pieces. At first, when the idea was pitched to the ancestors, they laughed. It was ridiculous. How can they not feel? How can we not feel? How can we not imagine, they said. But slowly, little by little, the seed of doubt grew. Let's make them think that they have limited resources and they need to scramble for the resources of this earth. You mean make them believe in their lack? One of them said gently, almost like a whisper. Yes, yes, luck, he said with a grand gesture. Luck, that's the word, luck. Make them feel like they'll never have enough, like they really need to fight for these resources. Let's get them to study the lack of it all. It'll be called uh, economics. Yes, economics. The desire of the ancestor grew stronger. He felt like this was his calling. He had to accomplish this, he thought. The ancestor smiled and said to his circle, it's all in their beliefs. If we can change what they believe about themselves, we can change everything. He knew the truth, that belief is the root of reality. So he said, don't fight them, just teach them. Teach them to doubt their own power. And that's exactly what they did. It took time, generations even, but the plan was perfect. They called it the Great Forgetting. So the ancestor said, here's what we'll do. Let's make them forget all the colors they can see, all the sounds they can hear. Let's dim their senses just enough so they think the outer world is all there is. It's all they're sensitive to. Let's make them forget their inner senses so they can feel so powerless without their bodies. We will limit their knowledge to all their senses by ensuring they only have 5 senses. Let's make them rely on their intellect, he said, only on what they can prove. That would do it. And one of them laughed and said, how do we teach billions of them that? Oh, easy, said the ancestor. We'll build places where they all have to go as soon as they can talk. We'll call them, we'll call them schools, some silly words. Schools, we shall call them. And everyone in the secret circle cheered, school. What's that, school? They'll never buy that, one of them retorted. It's so far-fetched. How can you teach them? Yet they know all things. This is just ridiculous, the elder said and walked out of the room in a fit. But the ancestor said to the rest, they'll study everything except themselves. Their true nature, they'll throw out. It'll be crazy to them to ponder such things. Things beyond their things beyond their perception. It's beautiful. Schools will divert their attention. Trust me, he said. This will work, he grinned. They will create things, and these material things will become their obsession. They'll always want to pursue that. Even those that awaken, because some will still be so attached to the outcome of these material things. They'll want those more than the things greater. The things going on within them will be less interesting. Their joy will not be looked at as the true reward, but even those that speak about these great things will want these material things to prove to the rest that what they talk about is true. They'll find it hard, so hard to believe one who comes and tells them the truth but doesn't have these material things. They'll doubt this being. They'll say, if you can manifest anything, why don't you have this and that? And so they'll doubt the very truth spoken by these ones. They'll kill them, call them names and whatnot. Watch, they'll do it. The young ones, they still knew. They came in remembering. They saw colors no one else could. They talked to trees, played with air, laughed at stars. But before long, they were told to grow up, to stop imagining, to stop feeling, to focus on everything bad. All of their memories and beliefs would be centered around fear. Their egos will be shaped by this fear, and they'll never be able to free themselves of this curse. They'll condemn the ego and make it seem evil. all the while not knowing that they shape and train their egos. They were told to focus on illness, on struggle, and everything unwanted. They forgot that when they focused on good, good things grew. They forgot they were creators. And the plan worked for a while. The ancestors' descendants ruled quietly, generation after generation, keeping the secret safe, feeding the forgetting. The ancestors looked at this sack and said, now that they have stopped thinking for themselves, we need to keep them busy. So they created distractions, shining ones, noisy ones, glowing ones. They built little boxes that played moving pictures, and soon the beings barely looked away from them. They'll stare at these screens for hours, one said, laughing. They'll call it entertainment. They'll be so busy with this that they'll never ponder their own thoughts and realize that what they think about they create. It will seem like an idea so far-fetched and untrue when one of them ever states this out loud. The beings loved this plan so much. One of them stated, how about if we take the screens from their living quarters and put one in each one of their hands? Like a handheld device, you mean? Yes, like a handheld device, one that'll completely take all of their attention. They'll be so attached to them. We can control them completely through this. I know it. The elder had such a look of determination and passion that the rest of the group stood up in an uproar and gave him a standing ovation. Immediately, the beings went into focus mode and started to create these devices and what they would look like. And then the news will make a show that tells them everything that's wrong with the world, the ancestors say. They will wake up to it, go to bed to it, and talk about it all day. And oh, it worked. The ancestor ruled and continued to roam the earth because his creative power always could keep him well and alive. So the beings will suffer, deteriorate in age. They will live in fear. They'll personify and take on feelings that will take away their joy even more. Everywhere they look, something will be wrong. A disaster here, a scandal there, a new disease, a new fear, a new reason to feel powerless. They'll never know that what they watch, they create. What they concentrate upon becomes their reality. That what they talk about, they invite. They'll just call it reality. And to make sure they never looked inward again, the ancestor came up with his favorite trick of all. Let's create for them two new beings, he said, so they'll always look up or away, but never within. One they'll call the source of goodness, a perfect being of light and love, they said. Let's be ironic and tell them truly that they are made in the image of this being, and watch them try so hard to believe this, but never knowing that this is truly who they are. But then we will add that they'll never be as good as this God. They will try so hard to please this being, not knowing all along is who they are. When asked, you mean we should tell them they're created in the same image as this God and they'll still not believe it? Yeah, he said, they'll not believe it. In fact, it will cause so many divisions among them. They'll create all sorts of concepts around this and they'll call it a religion. Some will say it's spirituality and never actually believing. So the beings spent lifetimes trying to earn love. They already were. They kept looking without themselves to find fulfillment. They looked for love from others. They looked for love from material possessions, and none of that brought them joy. None of that brought them true joy from within. Then came the other one, the evil being, a convenient place to hang all their shadows, their pain, their bad actions. They said, whenever you fall short, it's his fault. And so the beings started taking responsibility for their thoughts and actions. Everything they considered bad was this being's fault. They will call him they'll call him the devil. The plan was genius. They will praise the light and fear the dark, and forget that both had always been within them. Both versions of themselves they were to embrace and use as guidance for their alignment. Then the ancestors saying, now the final touch. Let's make them believe they can die. The circle gasped. But they can't die, one said. They're eternal beings, sources in them. Come on, I think you've pushed it too far. They're souls, entities. Their flesh is a projection of all that is. None of them will buy that. An infusion of the spirit and the flesh. They will never believe this. The ancestors slammed. Death is just a transition, a waking up from the illusion they are currently focused in. How can they forget that this experience shouldn't be feared? Look at them. They can never forget such a thing so obvious. He smiled. They don't need to. They just have to believe they can. And so the illusion of mortality was born. They said, let's make them think death is the end, so they'll fear it, fight it, and never truly live. It'll be almost impossible for them to live in the now. Yet their point of power is in the present now. Those that do will seem strange. He had a hefty laugh. Then came time, a perfect invention, invisible yet heavy enough to bend every thought. Let's make them count the days, he said. Let's make them watch the years slip away. We'll tell them they get old, tired, and less beautiful. And they'll have to be able to prove it to themselves. They'll have science and never be able to ponder beyond that which is. Time will be the perfect illusion that will separate the past, present, and future. The mere thought that everything's happening right now simultaneously will cause them such confusion. It will be an illusion so perfect that they'll depend on it for generations and generations. And space, let's create the illusion of space. They'll not realize that it's an illusion too. They'll think things are separate from them, always moving, not aware of what is happening around them, never aware. Let's teach them to eat more than they need. Make them have these heavy meals that will affect their health. Let's make them believe that it's healthy for them to go long periods without food, not knowing that this very thing ages them faster. Let's make them create food so unhealthy, and even if the body can handle to process it, let's make them doubt the very power of their bodies. And let's make them believe that they have to sleep such extended hours and their spirit will be separated from their bodies for such long periods, and they'll forget all the information through dreams Source will surely be sending them. Some of them, in fact, will believe they don't dream. Let's make them look upon those who take naps as lazy. But they need short sleep periods throughout the day. These are most important. This is how they recharge. And yeah. Another interrupted. We already know what this can do, but let's see whether they'll be able to get by without them. This is good. We are challenging them. And with every birthday candle, the beings unknowingly agreed. They spoke their age into being and believed in decline more than renewal. But the ancestor wasn't done. Let's make them compare, he said. Let's grade them, rank them, and tell them that worth must be earned. And so they build systems of achievement. It will start in these schools where everyone will try to be better than the next and forget that all were already divine. They made belief into religion, truth into debate, and turned love itself into something to fight about. And the beings called this progress. They called it civilization. They called it the real world. But in truth, it was the grand illusion, a world where people grew smaller, trying to prove they were enough. The ancestors rejoiced. Their plan had worked. They looked upon the world and said, finally, order. The new world order. They hid the old wisdom in books no one read. Some were burned and no eye ever saw them. Some buried it under the noise, wrapped in fear. They rewrote truth until it was almost unrecognizable. But the beings could never fully forget, because truth, real truth, has a funny way of echoing. Every few generations, one would wake up, one would look around and say, wait, this isn't who we are. They'd speak of light, of oneness, of creation. They'd heal people with their presence. They'd remind the world that love is not earned, it's who they were. And when these speakers appeared, it wasn't always the ancestors who silenced them. No, it was the beings themselves, the ones still asleep, the ones who were afraid to wake up. They pointed fingers at the one who spoke and said, blasphemy, madness, who do you think you are? They mocked the truth, stoned the messengers, and turned away from their own reflection. For the message was too bright for the eyes long used to the dark. The ancestors simply watched and smiled. They didn't have to lift a finger. The beings were now policing their own awakening. One of them felt a sudden pain in her heart. One of the ancestors. She saw the demise of the human race, and it pained her that they didn't know. Okay, she thought, our little experiment has worked, but I think it's time we tell them the truth of it all. So she sent messages to humanity through speakers. Some of them remembered little small whispers, but they doubted them so easily. They'd been trained to fear, and so often they disregarded the voices. Books were written with messages from their past, but again, the humans couldn't trust these sources. Concepts mentioned were so ridiculous to them, and in fact, much of what was said wasn't scientific and hence couldn't be trusted. The humans disregarded it all. And the few who heard it and understood it, they suddenly wanted to do the same thing the ancestors did millions of years ago. The humans had so many distractions, so many voices speaking, so much information was out there that now it had all lost meaning. But she believed. She knew who she was, and so she continued her focus, reaching to them through everything they had. The information was a lot. Not even all the books could contain it. And some who spoke, they complicated the message. Some who spoke, they had their own fears. So much that most still couldn't wrap their heads around all of these words. So she came up with a brilliant plan. So brilliant that in fact, it made her laugh. What if, she said to one of her friends, what if I go myself? They stared at her in disbelief. You can't, one said. You'd have to forget everything. She shrugged. That's part of the fun. She asked to be sent back with all her power, but veiled, hidden beneath forgetting, compressed into feeling. She knew the rules. To enter the game, she would have to forget that she created it. And so she came, not as a ruler, not as a savior, but as a girl. peculiar, playful, and unbothered. She grew up confused just like the rest. She felt the forgetting deeply. She cried, she searched, she tried everything and it didn't work. Until one day, she did the one thing no one had told her to. She looked inside. She listened. And suddenly, it all rushed back, not as memory, but as recognition. Oh, she laughed, of course. She remembered the meetings, the laughter, the ridiculousness of it all. She remembered sitting there, debating contrast, knowing full well it would all get wildly out of hand. She remembered choosing this. She remembered choosing herself, and she laughed again, not because humanity had failed, but because their plan had worked. The forgetting had done its job, so much so that the beings could now remember from inside the illusion. And now here she was, a guide, an uplifter, a teacher, saying feeling good matters. Your well-being is your compass. You create your own reality. We are all love. We are all connected. Some listened, some didn't. She didn't mind. She was just joyful to get to do this. She knew that everyone would remember eventually in their own timing, in their own way. And the ancestors, they were still laughing, not because of the suffering, but because consciousness had once again found a way to know itself through play. This was never a mistake. It was an experiment, a game, a very immersive one, and you're still in it. This is not the end. It's the remembering. This is us. This is the nature of us. The end.